Man, it feels so good to be back right now, doesn't it, nature viewers, huh? Yeah, you know, I always just love coming back to staying in this spot in the perfect time of weather with not too much sunlight but not too much windy at the same time. It just feels like the time to be alive. You know, school's out for everybody, at least, well, for right now it is, and yup, just feels so good. Yeah, you can tell by the attitude I'm actually not out of ideas. Oh, that one's gonna hurt. That was just a slight concussion, but it doesn't matter anyway because I have an idea. I mean, you know, if this video wasn't out, then I obviously wouldn't. Like, that's just basically how the algorithm works. Now look, I never really thought about this up until now because, you know, I have no life, but one thing that just nobody can ever stand, like, about warm weather like this is, I mean, well, okay, I mean, to be honest, summer is okay. I mean, yeah, sure, it's hot, but I'm okay with summer. But this right now, spring, this is very relaxing right now. But just one thing that I just can't. The one thing I hate about spring is I thought I heard somebody. Fops. No, I'm not talking about your casual white ants. I'm talking about these insects. Like, look at them. Right there. Gosh, what are they planning? I know you probably can't see them because they might be camouflaged, but that's the whole point. Like, they're just so sinister. Okay. I gotta calm down, but that's just how infuriating these things can actually be. Gosh. Now, look, this was the original idea. I was actually going to cram all of these, like, little insects into one episode right now, since I figured, you know, they all have, like, a small purpose in life, and they are small in general, and, you know, so annoying. But they actually, some of them actually have more of, like, a bigger purpose than you actually think they do, and even if they are annoying, they can be interesting either way. So, here's the thing. If we're going to make this, like, you know, a whole and tiny, like, small series or whatever, I figure, why don't we go ahead and start with the strongest, or, like, you know, most annoying and worst thing. I don't know how to describe this though, but we're gonna start with one of the stronger characters and work our way back to the bottom. Unlike other shows, you know, that probably go from like weakest to strongest, because, you know, something that you gotta know about my show and just me in general is that I'm actually special. No, you're not, you loser. So what could probably be one of the easiest ones to start off with, or, you know, one of the most strongest ones that you could start off with? Well, why don't we go ahead and talk about the last insect. Yeah, basically the last insect I've ever made an episode about, bees. Now, while yes, you know, bees can be strong and, you know, they kind of are a little bit more creepy though. I mean, I kind of get nervous whenever I see bees, or even if I see, like, you know, a painting of a beehive, like, I'll honestly freak out. I get probably like first, second, third, maybe fourth degree heartburns. But bees are obviously not trying to look like the bad guy or the villain, because at the end of the day, they're actually helping our world. I mean, they're obviously, like, you know, supplying all these plants here right now. They're making honey, not just for themselves, but also for us, because, you know, that's kind of a reward. I mean, like, as long as you're not bothering bees, and they're not going to bother you, it's as simple as it should work, and that's as simple as life should work. But, you know, sometimes people just don't want to apply, which is fine. But the main gimmick is that bees are not 100% friendly, but most of the time, as long as you're not doing anything, then they most likely won't bother you, though. Now, here is where the polar opposite comes in. Well, not technically, but wasp. These are our main targets. Look at this guy right here. What? Who do you think he is? Who are you? What do you even do? What is your purpose? I'll tell you what it is. It's to be annoying, though. Now, but look at these guys right here. Now, look, I know it's my fault because I'm basically 1 foot away, and it's my fault if I get stung, which I am going to talk about that. But still, look what he's doing. I know he's thinking of something. I know he's thinking of any way to fly near me and attack me any minute. He's just staring at me. Oh, I saw him wave his hand. I know you can't see it, but I definitely can. I see everything here. Yeah. Oh, what's he doing now? What? Oh. Yeah. What are you gonna do, Oh, man, I just can't with these guys, okay? Like, sure, they don't really look, and he flew away. Wow. Stubborn one. See, I hate it when they gotta do that. They gotta spread all their legs around like they're a freaking spider. They're obviously not, but you can also tell that wasps are also disgusting, because if you think that eating honey that's actually bee barf is terrible, well, the way wasps make their mess is out of their own saliva. Gosh. Jeez, I can understand probably another reason why to take their nest down, because shoot, I mean, if you really think about it, would you want saliva like, you know, put around your whole entire yard or whatever? I certainly wouldn't. Speaking of nests, I hate them. I hate everything about them. They literally give me more heart attacks than if I were to see a beehive in real life. Literally, like just thinking about them right now gives me anxiety. It gives me goosebumps put in the wrong way. If you have any tactics on how to actually take down a wasp nest, one actually great thing that you could do, rather than just using the hose several times, which is always a method that works, is, well, first getting gloves so that way you don't get your hands, you know, stung, and maybe wearing protection gear just all over your body, you know, just in case. Like, you can never be too sure these days, but actually get like a bucket that's probably like the size of the nest. Hopefully, maybe it could be enough to cover it if it's like, you know, on the top of the ceiling. If it's in the corner, I don't know, you might just be better off using the hose, but take a bucket, fill it up with gasoline properly, and then just put it in there. They're gonna all fly around, but then they're gonna all die, since they're gonna, you know, try to fly into the gasoline, and then that's, yeah. I know that sounds brutally detailed, but so is seeing a wasp in real life and seeing a bunch of them start chasing you around. Look at this guy. He thinks I don't see him. I see you. Look at this guy right here. I can't tell if he's a bee or a wasp. He probably might just be a bee, maybe a fly, but I can tell he's hearing in on the conversation, and I bet they are too. I'm just kidding. They don't have ears. They can't hear what I'm saying. It's no joke that wasps were literally put on this planet to make everybody suffer. Like, their whole purpose is to be a menace to society, a sociopath, a psychopath, literally anything that resembles a threat. Because that's their whole purpose, though. That's exactly what they want to do the whole time, though. So, like, sure, they may look like, you know, they're actually doing something for the world because, you know, they're helping pollinate. But that's the thing. They're actually called accidental pollinators. Keyword, accidental. Wasps are not meant to be pollinators because they're not even doing anything that hasn't been done already that's actually going to provide for our world. If they literally have to feed off of insects for themselves because they don't need to, but they actually feed to, it's part of that actually work, then that should show that there's already something wrong with them mentally, physically, and spiritually, which shows that if they smell happiness, they're already going to attack. And that's kind of why the insects that they eat are literally the ones that spread happiness, or like, you know, are really, they literally can't do any harm. They literally feed themselves off of flies, roly-polies, ladybugs, and caterpillars too. Which, I mean, come on, man. Like, why would you want to do that? I won't ever listen to someone that says that wasps and bees are actually identical or they kind of look alike. Because no, they don't. Like, bees are literally smaller and they're not even, like, technically yellow. I mean, you know, they're described to be yellow, but if you really think about it, they're kind of like a, like, darkish gold or maybe like a brownish, while wasps, on the other hand, are literally yellow. Like, they're literally called yellow jackets for a reason. They're meant to be the enemies. Like Ant-Man, yellow jacket. You know, you see the comparison? Like, you do? Yeah. In reality, wasps will never come close to the big three. You know, the big three: birds, bees, and butterflies. I literally made like 3 separate episodes in like a sequential order and specific type, in case you couldn't catch that, about them, and like, you know, the whole purpose. Just because of that I mention, I won't even say shout out, just because of that I mention wasps on one episode doesn't mean that you gain my respect. You barely even respect me when I'm outside and minding my own business. I don't care if they pollinate 1,050 different crops or plants. Were you guys the first to do it? No. But yeah, in conclusion, no matter what you do, like, even if you do get rid of wasps, which obviously it is clear that you do get rid of them, but they're always going to come back, and come back they will do every single spring and summer. Actually, yeah, summer obviously like kind of picks up a little bit more. So, you know, just like enjoy this moment right now, like I've always said, because before you know it, they're going to start actually like spreading out more than you probably think. But like, you know, I guess like wasps could kind of represent like your job or something. Like, you can't work and maintain a 9-to-5 job without having at least like one problem a day, whether it's like, you know, your coworker forgetting his keys and he's blaming you because you, I don't know, maybe left it in the bathroom or something. Why else would you probably think that wasps would be pests when they're literally polar opposites of what bees do their whole entire life? But one thing that I would actually want to see is if a wasp, not just versus a bee, but versus Barry B. Benson, that would be a fight in the world that I would be stopping everything. I would stop everything just to watch that fight. If Barry B. Benson lets me down, though, I probably would never eat honey again. To be honest, though, like, me just having to mention about wasps in general makes me scared, like, more than actually seeing one in real life, or even seeing, like, a wasp nest that probably could be, like, the size of that pot right there. It literally gives me the most intense shivers that I've ever gotten. Yes, shivers. Not chills, shivers. They're literally 2 different things, but I'm not going to explain them right now because I'm running out of breath as we speak. And also, like, you know, if you don't think that wasp eating other insects, like an insect eating another one, is like a form of cannibalism, and you don't think that's like kind of disturbing, then I don't really think it would be that disturbing if you were to destroy a wasp nest by surrounding the whole entire area with a bucket of gasoline. And I know that I'm probably like the last person that you should ever want to take advice from, or at least the way like you think that, you probably feel like that's what I would probably say. But like, if that method actually does work out for you, just know that it was from this video. Come back to the video actually. Hopefully the comments will still be open, and leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment saying thank you so much, Brady, for saving me. I almost died, or I almost was invaded by a wasp, and that would just prove me that I'm actually doing something right in this world, just like how I always do. Alright, whoever does that again, I'm gonna smack you! Thank you guys so much for watching. I suck at endings. There's probably gonna be more ideas coming out now that I've made this new establishment to this series. So, you know, there's a lot, and there's still more planned documentaries, which, you know, if you see one in the future, then you're probably gonna know why. Subscribe to National Geographic Official, this channel, so we can make it grow more, because, I mean, it's tended to keep at like a good pace, but hopefully this video kind of boosts it up a little bit. Follow our TikTok and our Instagram, or the cameraman's Instagram at least, but like, you know, we're still featured every now and then. And please, this is just a reminder, please do this, because if you forget, you're gonna always forget, like, once summer hits, wear sunscreen. I'm telling you right now, because if you don't listen to me, don't say that I didn't warn you, okay? Bye.